Alright, what's up you guys, it's FangedShadows here, and in case you couldn't tell from the video and the title, I'm just going to be talking about RWBY stuff, because tomorrow, or rather today when it's uploads, the Volume 6 soundtrack comes out, and I think that's pretty cool, because no matter what volume of RWBY is bad or good, you always count on the soundtrack being top notch. It's always amazing. Action filled, emotional, very, very good. From Casey Lee Williams and Jeff Williams, they always do an outstanding job, they really do. I mean, for me, well, in case you couldn't tell, I am a fan of the show. I mean, if you see my certain reactions, you may know that. But I came across this show by accident, because I was on Facebook and I found this weird poster. It was Maka Albard versus this girl in a, in a red hood. And I was like, oh, who's this? And I searched in the comments, and it was RWBY from the show RWBY. I'm like, okay, I've never heard of that before. And I searched it up, and oh, Rooster Teeth makes this. Because I love Rooster Teeth content. Along with a Let's Play channel, Achievement Hunter, love it all. And I started with the 4 trailers, and my god, when I found out that it was all made by one person, that blew my mind, because it's outstanding seeing what one person can achieve with that much practice and patience and determination. Of course, the creator was Monty Oum, and Monty Oum put a lot of work into this, like, the way it looks, the way it flows in terms of choreography, the action, just seeing the characters fight in that certain way, it was so unique. Like, it was very unique. It kept up the pace, it didn't slow down at points. And when it did it for a purpose. But out of the 4 trailers, I think I'll stick with RWBY's, because that sequence of her slicing up Grimm was just unbelievably satisfying. But then I actually got to the series, and I will be honest, right, when I first saw the show, right, I was like 16, 17 at the time, I was thinking, oh, okay, this is different, it's CG, okay. Yeah, there's some things that are clunky here and there, but that's what happens when you do a first season or a first anything, to be honest. Sometimes you'll get those clunks where you don't know what you're trying to do with a show, or what you're trying to do. You're still trying to find your mold, your space, if you will. But I stuck through it because, well, I want to make sure I actually got to understand why people like this. Because, like, see, when I watch a show, I don't stop after like 1 episode that looks bad, or 2 episodes that's bad. I keep going for a full season just to see if anything catches my eye. Funny enough, this didn't happen much because I was interested in the world. I was interested about the Grimm. I was interested about the characters, and the fight choreography was amazing as always. I was always interested in seeing what could happen. The Grimm I found interesting because they were just really gothic and just really spoke to me. The color schemes they had, the black, red, and white, I just really liked it. And a little bit of yellow in the eyes, you know. And the weapon mechanics, I really enjoyed. Like, seeing all the combinations of weapons, like a scythe with a sniper rifle, dual nunchuck shotguns, like, that's just, like, that's absurd, but amazing at the same time. Then I stuck through Volume 1, and then I went to Volume 2, and then I was intrigued, because it showed more depth to its characters, and its the character development, like how certain characters were struggling, like Blake. She was struggling with the whole trying to figure out the White Fang and Roman Torchwick. We got to see more tender moments, like the gang just at the balls, just having a nice time being, kids, just dancing with each other, just having a good time. And then Volume 3 came around and crushed our hearts and dreams and made us cry. Trust me, it made me cry. Miles, Carrie, why? Why did you do that to me? You know what you were doing. Why would you do that? But I'm joking aside, the Volume 3 was a different shift. It was starting off okay, like, yeah, everything's gonna be fine. But then, uh-oh, red alert, things happened. But I didn't mind it, because I don't mind shows that go happy, 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 then a shift in dark tone. Not too dark, but just enough to settle in, like, okay, guys, this is gonna be, like, official stuff. Like, this is where things get really, really heavy. Now, I don't want to bring it up, because it's been, like, 4 years, but when I heard about Monty's passing, I was really saddened. A lot of us were, especially people close to Monty, like his family, his friends, everyone, the fan base, people who knew Monty closely. It was heartbreaking. But what saddened me was just seeing someone so passionate, someone so pure of energy, full of dedication, taken away from us so young. It was a shock. It was a very shocking thing. Like, I never met the guy, I never met Monty, but the way he acted, the way he was, I just could tell he was such a really calm, down to earth, very positive person, like just wants to get the best out of everything and try to get everyone to do their best. I can't speak mostly about him, but I'm sure his friends have already said enough, more than enough. And then there's volume 4, where it was kind of the first volume without Monty's guidance. But yeah, they have the journals, but like for Miles and Carrie, they were the kind of, in the front seats of writing everything down, how it's going to be set out, what was going to happen in this volume. And that got some mixed opinions. Some people thought it was the change, but it was a good kind of change. Like, it wasn't bad, it wasn't so out of place, it felt somewhat natural. Some people didn't like it, some did. Volume 5 received a lot of backlash. Like, for example, certain characters were written differently than they should have, and just how it was supposed to tell a story, it was very mixed. A lot of people didn't like Volume 5. Then Volume 6 came along. That got a mixed opinion. Some people enjoyed it, especially near the end for certain reasons. A lot of people then argued about certain things like shippings. For fuck's sake, do not do that. I've seen enough bad shit already with the shipping. It's unbearable. Just stop. Like, if you want to ship Blake with Sun, go for it. If you want to ship Blake with Yang, go for it. It's not hurting anybody. Go for it. And just because a certain ship is canon doesn't mean that person can't ship someone with someone else. Like, if Bumblebee is canon, it's not wrong for someone to ship Blake with Sun. It doesn't hurt anybody. It's their opinion. And you shouldn't really get uppity or harass people for it. You really shouldn't. It shouldn't bother you in the slightest. But yeah, I enjoy the series for its characters, the weapons, the choreography of the fights, the soundtrack, just seeing all these things happen, just all these things. And I want it to continue. Some people may, like, I've seen a lot of videos of people saying they've either dropped the show or think the show's declining. Me personally, I just see it as Miles and Carrie writing a story. Like, I'm not saying, oh, they've done so many things differently. Like, no. I just think they're doing what they can. They're doing what they want to do with the story. And that's up to them. Have they made certain choices that are quite questionable? Possibly. Did they make certain character choices that are quite off? Maybe. Do they pander to the audience? That's open to opinion. But at the end, I will continue to support the show. I will continue to watch the show because I enjoyed it, and I'm doing it for Monty. Because this is Monty's work. This was his child, basically. This was Monty's child. And Miles and Carrie were like the godfathers. Because throughout RWBY itself, the whole of it, I've seen many people talk about certain things that don't work, things that could be better, and to me, well, I don't complain too much because it's not my story. I'm not telling the story. Miles and Carrie are. Like, if I have ideas in my head about the series, like, oh, this could happen, or that could happen, I'm not gonna be annoyed when that doesn't happen because, well, it's just I guess a missed opportunity, yes, but I'm not gonna complain saying, What are they doing this for? Oh my god, why would they do this? This is not what I had in mind. Well, yeah, but it's not your show. It's not your show. I mean, it's good that you have the idea. That's brilliant. If you have that idea, go write it down somewhere. Go write it on, like, fanfic.net or Wattpad or something. Share it with the people, because I'm sure they'll love that. But overall, it's their guys' story. And whatever story they want to go with it, we can only watch, give our opinion, but not be as, well, let's put it this way, not a jerk. Like, if you don't like an idea that's been made or done in the show, that's fine. You have the right to not like it. But just don't go harassing people. Do not try to belittle people for liking it. So for Volume 7, I'm interested in seeing how they take this in terms of characters and story. Anything I'd like to see in Volume 7? I would like to see at least 1 or 2 episodes of a Stark flashback, or even just a prequel miniseries. Even that would do for some context of Stark, Team Stark. That would be pretty cool. Just seeing the gang, Team Stark, just in Beacon, and then after like a couple of years they graduated, just them seeing the departure begin. Just seeing how that became a thing, like why and how they feel at that time, and seeing the contrast of the characters. Like, we've seen them how they are now, but what were they before all this, hell came about? That'd be kind of cool to see. Any characters development I'd like to see? I think more time with Salem would be very interesting. I mean, yeah, we got a whole origin story of why Salem is who she is, and we got to see her being more wrathful. But I like to see her more in terms of being in control, being dominating, conquering, being just an overall, well, bad guy, just doing what she thinks is right, but make her intimidating. Like, why should we really fear her? Like, she's the top dog. Make that a threat. Make her more of a dangerous foe than comparison to Cinder or her lackeys. I would like to see... It goes back to Team Stark, but I'd like to see a flashback with Summer so we can get to see more of what Summer was like. I mean, with Volume 7, they're heading to Atlas again, so this should be interesting. We got some family issues coming. But I think it'd be kind of cool if, like, halfway through, there is, like, a storm coming. Like, Salem and her army of Grimm just heading towards Atlas with no problem. And just seeing the Atlas, military take them on as much as they can. And maybe Team RWBY just, like, hopping on a ship to, like, take down Salem or at least cripple her defenses or something, just... Like, I know they just had, like, a giant Godzilla Grimm attacking. Let's be honest, folks, that was Godzilla. He was just chilling, With Volume 7, with the end showing Salem creating some new beast type Grimm, I would like to see an all-out brawl with Atlas military versus the Grimm, just swarming all over, kind of like how they did with Volume 3, but just bigger and much more deadly. Like, what makes this different from the invasion back those years ago? What makes that difference? Bigger and much more in detail. Now, I'm not saying guts and gore, but if you could do that, go for it. Just seeing the group trying to be actual hunters and huntresses, defend the people that need defending, like RWBY taking charge more, like she did in Volume 6. Like, for example, we could have... It's code red on the Atlas military. All the Grimm are just, like, attacking the base, and there's barely enough time to think, but RWBY thinks, okay, we need to help everyone here, and Jean and RWBY come together with a plan. Jean thinks that people should split up into certain sectors with certain team members, like, one person could be long range, one person could be short ranged, one person can help the strongest could help the weakest, like, that kind of thing. Like, the strongest member tries to help the most crippled, base or something, and RWBY can take control, like, alright, you guys go here, you guys do this, and we should be good. Like, something like that, just something to build that kind of development of character, like, what their roles are. Like, RWBY's supposed to be a leader, let her take charge more, let her, like, try to do what's best for the team and for all of Remnant, really, and have Jean be, smart. Like, he is a smart guy, it just depends on the situation, but he can be smart. Have him think of a plan, like, a strategy to, try to balance off the Grimm with the military helping out. It could be really good.